From the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. In the studio, Robert Colen is here from On Top of the World Communities. We're going to learn about what they're doing over there. And now that we're like 17 days into October, I don't know about you. There's nothing holiday yet in any. If your spirit is broken up by cells, I don't have one cell of spirit that has any holiday stuff going on yet. Hey, Robert, how you doing?
I'm good.
Oh, Robert, I mean, did I say Robin?
Robert.
How you both doing?
I've asked her to speak on my behalf today. I'm doing great. So good to be back with you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you had an event this past weekend, and we weren't able to go. So it was the bug one, and we told Summer we were going to go, but we had something else. So.
Yeah, it was really a tremendous event, greater than I think anything we expected. This was at Shalom Park on Sunday from 1 to 4, and we had a ladybug release, 3 different ladybug releases. We released over 100,000 ladybugs,
cool.
and we gave out little cups of ladybugs to people. And I couldn't believe how many people would wait in line to get a cup of ladybugs just to let go.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
It was a lot of fun, and we had well over 3,000 people. We counted about 1,600 cars.
I love that. I love when you do that.
So,
we should have gone.
It's just something we do for the public for free. We have some sponsors that help us. Mike's Got Plumbing's been here, Renaissance Bank, a couple other vendors that support us. But it's just something we do just to thank the community for and as a gift to the community. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, we tried to get people to show up. I told them the Beatles would be there.
Yeah, you're close. Very close.
Ladybugs, Beatles, it's kind of the same
The
thing.
monkeys. Well,
oh, that's the next one, right? Have some monkeys over there.
Thinking about what I want to do is a celebration of our law enforcement, our first responders.
Oh,
because,
nice. Yeah.
This is for Shalom Park still, but there's so much bad press about law enforcement, right? And being able to thank them and say, look, we appreciate you, and we really do, especially in this community where I think we're all entwined with our law enforcement. They're not just some distant group. We're friends with them. They go to their kids go to our schools with our kids. So it's really something special, and we want to try to put something together. Well, we're at the very early stages and haven't even reached out to anybody yet, but that's my thinking what we want to do next.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Very enjoyable.
the Brian Litz statue is just down the road from you.
That's right.
And I mean, that guy, the poor guy, went to answer a call and got shot.
That's right. And, just in the community right near us.
So crazy, yeah. My nephew actually is a firefighter at the fire station that services Top of the World. So,
right.
I didn't know that until the other day. He saw me walking.
Going
to McDonald's. Uncle Larry, you stuck? No, I'm just going to McDonald's. Just kind of. So let's see. We have. Okay, this is the topic. I had to look twice. Is this really your topic? You've got a date with a hot model?
That's right. It's a catchy phrase, and I loved it. I was talking to marketing yesterday, Kelly Russ in our marketing department, and it's a new program we have on November 5th. This year, we have 10 models that we're going to be putting on sale, and they're going to be the fully furnished models that we sell. And I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous. You can go by and see them at any time while we're open. But we sell them, and like I said, fully furnished with all the excitement that's in there, and then we lease them back from the buyer for a year as a model. So they continue to be a model, but then they're owned by whoever buys them. Yeah.
Wow.
And so it becomes almost like an investment, and then after that year, you get to take it back, and it's been fully painted and cleaned and refreshed, and then you have a fully furnished house.
Wow.
With all the
I've never heard of something like this before. Is this something you guys came up with?
We've done the lease back for quite a few years. Every time the last couple of times we've done a sale of our models, and we shift over to building new models. So this is one way that we can move them forward. But there's demand for housing is really intense right now. And so this is kind of a neat way of getting that house. And you're only going to be, if you want to move into it right away, this is probably not the right thing. But if you want to, if you're willing to wait a year, a little more than a year, and you want a fully furnished house with all the crown molding and all the upgraded appliances and the upgraded countertops and the Cambria and quartz countertops and the best cabinets that we can get, then this is really a great opportunity.
Oh, that's a wonderful opportunity. Are you going to auction them off, or? No,
they'll be on the first come, first served basis. So you'll come and you would meet with a salesperson. You can tour those houses anytime, and they're open right now. They're over in the sanctuary community, and you would inside on top of the world. So they're in our model park, and you can walk in them now, and you can see them which ones you like. And then on November 5th, it'll be on a first come first served basis of which one you can buy.
Oh, that's wonderful. I had passed a sign going down 80th Avenue to Highway 40 on Sunday, and you said that there's a new community coming. There was a big sign about a brand new community on the west side of the road.
On the
and I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it.
Well, yeah.
Sorry,
I know, right now we're in development of our neighborhood. Well, we have Lark Hill, which was being built. That's inside the Candler Hills community, and those are upscale houses. And then we have Crescent Ridge 3, which we have 2 other phases of Crescent Ridge. But Crescent Ridge 3 is a really cool phase because, and I've talked about it before, is we're doing solar on every single house. So there's solar panel there. You won't be zeroed out in energy, but you could be pretty close on some of them, depending on which direction your roof is. But solar is basically it's a base feature that comes with every house, so it's really neat and obviously a very important energy conserving feature.
So I have 2 questions in one about that. How long ago was the first house with solar power in top of the world? And the second part of that, I guess, is how is it working out for them? Do they have a lot of maintenance regarding that? Is it, or do you guys maintain it? How does that work?
Well, the first house that got solar power was a guy named David Shira and his wife, and they're great people, good friends of mine. And I could go on a whole show talking about David Shira, and I'm going to probably call him afterwards and say, make sure you listen to it. But David was the first person to come to us and say, hey, I want to do solar, and we kind of made him jump through all kinds of hoops to get there, but it was just to make sure that it was anchored properly. And he's got a zero energy house, and now he's involved with selling solar. It's because he knows it so well. He's a CFA by trade, so he's a financial analyst.
Oh my gosh!
And he basically he's sold it to a lot of different homeowners, this feature, and he knows everything there is about it. Now, there's very little maintenance to do on these things. There's some maintenance that deals with the inverter, but very limited. Most people wouldn't have to do anything. You can always call your electrician or whoever your solar provider is. On the units themselves, usually they're going to last more than 20 years, so there's not really much to do there. If you're replacing your roof, then you got to take them off and put them back on. But But if we have a hailstorm, maybe you have to inspect it. But we've been through some pretty heavy weather, and he's got really almost no maintenance on it at all. Sometimes you might have to clean it, but that's like you hire somebody to get out there with Dawn soap or something to
just get because the more light gets in, the better it works, right?
Right. Yeah. So you have pollen or something like it on there, but it's very limited maintenance, and it's really for him, it's been a great feature. He keeps trying to get me to put it on my house. But the price of solar has come down so significantly over the last couple of years. I mean, it used to be for a full house, a zero energy house, you might put in $40,000. Now for that same making a zero energy, by zero energy, I mean you don't have an electric bill, or you have like a $13 electric bill, which is your standard price. That's the fee, and then they have what they call net metering, where they have to pay you for the energy that you've put back on the grid. So a lot of people even end up with a year with, like David Shira ends up with a year with credit on his electric bill, so he doesn't pay.
Wow. Do you have to be rezoned for that when a person that puts in solar, because it's different area?
There's no rezoning. It's just like adding a feature to your house.
Oh, okay.
There is an inspection that the county does for how it's installed. Obviously, you want it installed properly and anchored properly so it doesn't it meets the wind codes. But there's nothing else that goes with it.
Oh my gosh!
So if I was moving into On Top of the World and I wanted to, I guess the first thing would be to know more about it. But what would be? Is it normally just offered, or would I have to actually ask for this?
So in the Crescent Green community, it comes with your house. If you wanted to more and you wanted to go like a zero energy where you didn't pay the electric bill, then you would have to you could contract to get it. You could add it as a feature. You can contract afterwards with a vendor, and you would add more panels on your roof to bring it down. Yeah, but if you wanted it in another community, then it would be a feature that you would pay for additionally.
And since you're calling it the Crescent Green community,
Crescent Ridge, sorry,
Crescent Ridge community.
Crescent Green's there too, and I got a little confused. Crescent Ridge 3. Thank you.
Okay.
So since you're into solar and everything like that, the way trash is taken off too must be very eco-friendly.
So everything we do, we try to be very conscious of how we treat the environment and how we provide conservation. So we're very focused on water conservation. We can talk about that, and energy conservation. Energy conservation, we deal with things like the sheeting that you put on your roof that comes underneath your roofing, underneath the shingles.
Yeah.
We have insulation, the foil back insulation, so it reflects the heat away from your attic. And that way your attic doesn't get to be really hot. We also have R30 insulation that helps protect it. So the heat doesn't transfer into your house. It reduces what gets in there, and then it's able to cool better. And then we have higher SEER, 15 SEER air conditioning systems that lower the energy consumption. So a lot of things that we do to conserve energy, and then water conservation as well. And there's all kinds of features we do with that that reduce the water use, which is obviously really important for protecting the environment. And then with trash, we do have single stream recycling. So you just put it with the garbage, and then the company that comes out, they're able to sort the recycling materials out.
Oh, that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Are there aesthetic choices, or do all the solar panels look the same?
They're all, what we provide all look the same, but there are, and I don't know how far advanced they are, and I don't know where they're on the system, but there's a lot of different solar panels that are in the process of being made. There's some that look like your shingles, and I don't know how good they are. I'm not sure that they're even set for Florida wind codes. You have some that are part of the Windows systems that they look like your windows, but they take in
wow.
But I'm not sure any of that
That's
is
a
really
cool
ready for mass production yet. So I've just, the stuff that we just follow up on and check on.
We had a story about not solar cells, but cell towers that look like trees.
Yeah, sure.
Do you guys have any cell towers over there?
We have cell towers, and we have, of course, our big radio antenna that's there, that's used by the sheriff's department and other groups. Because I think it's the highest point in at least on that part of Marion County.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to make that look like a tree. That'd be a huge tree.
That's right. That'd be enormous. We don't have anything that looks like trees that I'm aware of in our that I've seen it. Yeah.
If a person, you have a lot of businesses on top of the world, ice cream parlors, things, medical places. If a person wants to open a business within your community, how do they go about doing that?
Well, we have leasing agents that will meet with you, and they can show you what's available. Yeah.
Robert Colen is our guest, and Robert, you have a phone call coming in. If you can put your headset on, you'll be able to hear the caller. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Good morning. You're on the air with Robert Colen.
Good morning, Mr. Colen. I'm just curious with the solar panels. I had a neighbor whose, believe it or not, his car was struck by lightning, and it really did a number on his vehicle. I was just wondering, with the solar panels, do you have any knowledge, or hopefully not, but experience with, say, lightning in your solar panels, and how that would impact a house with the solar panels and the electrical system in that area? I'll hang up and listen. I'm very impressed with your community, top of the world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a question I wouldn't have thought of. Wow.
It's a very good question. So every solar system is grounded through the house. If you get a direct strike from lightning, there's really nothing you can do other than go to your insurance company at that point. But there's nothing we could do to prevent it other than grounding it. But that's basically all that can be done at this point. But in my experience, I've never heard of a single house on top of the world that's been struck by lightning, let alone a solar system. And we've probably got 25 of them out there, not counting the Crescent Green community or Crescent Ridge community. But so I've never heard of that, but I've been to houses inside on top of the world where the tree right next door to them got hit by lightning, and then it shot through the root system into the house, all the way around the header of the house, and blew out. I mean, it was amazing. It blew out stucco all around the house, and then it blew out the refrigerator. But amazingly, the TV was on, and that didn't even get shut off. So. Wow.
Is insurance, homeowners insurance, mandatory, or does it come when you buy the house?
So in the community, that you don't have to buy homeowners insurance, although on top of the World Central, it's pretty much required. On top of the World Central, which is communities like Crescent Ridge 3, and the other older neighborhoods. Providence, which is still under construction, and Avalon, which is still under construction. Still houses can be purchased there. But in those communities, we maintain the roofs, we maintain the paint, we maintain the outside of the house, and if you have a roof leak or something like that, we'll even repair the drywall as part of your association fees. So, and then the problem is, like we were talking about the insurance, if you have a roof leak or if you go away and your toilet floods the house, well, On Top of the World could come in and fix the drywall for you, but then you've still got to possibly replace the cabinets and replace the flooring and stuff like that. So that's where the insurance is important for you to have that kind of insurance. And I've been to a number of houses where people have left town, or they've gone, or they're trying to sell their house and they're gone, and the house just gets destroyed by a leaking refrigerator, or something happens.
I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Do you have like apartments there, or just houses?
We do have a small section of apartments. I think we have 24 apartments.
Oh, okay. Where is that?
It's in the original area called Americana Village, and it was originally some of the first houses or first buildings that were constructed, and then they were originally sold off as condos. About 4 or 5 years ago, we purchased them all back. We were in a process of buying them all back, and we converted them to apartments. And they're there mainly for like a temporary stay for 6 months or greater. But they're there more for people who are building a house. It's a place for them to stay.
Gotcha. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. You have a lot of that, people moving from some place distant, and they need that kind of accommodation.
Right. They're either staying with us because they're looking to build a house, or they're actually in process of building a house, but it's not going to be ready for another 6 or 7 months, and they need some place to stay in the meantime.
Good idea.
And the most wonderful thing about On Top of the World is that it is a community. You just don't use that word lightly, because no matter where a person lives On Top of the World, or no matter where they go for their entertainment and things, everybody seems to know everybody else, and it's very, friendly and very community oriented.
Yeah, that's really a great point, and that's so much of what the purpose of On Top of the World is a place for people to care for each other. I mean, it's such an important thing. It's like, why do we do Shalom Park? It's because we care, and we want there to be community. We want people to have a meaningful and purposeful life, and have, there's so many activities and clubs that you can be part of. We have all the classes through Master the Possibilities that are there, and we have hundreds of classes through Master the Possibilities. And of course, I teach a class at Shalom Park, which is through Master the Possibilities, so anybody wants to come out to that.
What do you teach?
Which class is that?
I do a history and purpose, the history and meaning behind Shalom Park. So we talk about the symbolisms and the history, and it's a lot of fun. Then we do kind of a horticultural walk, and then we talk about the different symbolic features that were intended, or we kind of, what do we call it, the Easter eggs that you kind of put in there. So little things that we put into the park that we know about, not everybody else really knows about, but I talk about what they are.
So I have a question about that. Prior to On Top of the World, there's not much history there, and you're going to correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think what I wanted to say is you are writing the history. I mean, this is the history right now. I mean, there'll be a plaque with your name on it one day and say, "Oh, Robert was here."
Well, that's funny.
But what was
the history of On Top of the World is far greater than you would ever imagine, and it's we have a section that's over by the airport on off of 60th and 38th Avenue, where we had an archaeological dig done, and there's been continuous life in this area and on that property.
Oh, okay.
For over 10,000 years.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they found relics they're going back 10,000 years, so it's pretty amazing. And there were people living even up into the 18 and 1900s. We found bottles that were from the 17, 1800s. That we've got those on display at our Master of the Possibilities area, where the classrooms are. But in recent years, before On Top of the World came in, it was a cattle ranch owned by the Norris Cattle Company. E.L. Strickland, who's our cattle manager, he and his father both worked for Norris Cattle Company I think he wasn't born on the property, but his family was working there when he came in. So, so there's a long history there, and we're just trying to provide.
It's the nursing home assisted living facility. I think it's called Brookdale now. Is that actually On Top of the World property? What is that?
I think that they own that fee simple. I mean, they purchased that directly, and just like the new, there's another assisted living, and I guess they're going to be building independent living, but medical care facility.
It's multi-level.
Yeah,
huge.
You're right, and that's also been purchased right out. But the nice thing about the new one, and the name escapes me at the moment. But the great thing about both of those, if you're living and on top of the world and your spouse gets sick or you get sick, you can go and stay in one of those places and yet continue to be active in, or your friends can come visit you by golf cart and you can continue to be active in what goes on.
Yeah, yeah. I worked there before it was called Brookdale. It was called Park Place back in those days.
Sure, I remember that. You're the activity director, right?
I was, and I used to help people move from people who were at that point where they would need assistance. So they would move out of the home in top of the world and right there. So it wasn't a far move. I could take the van and get a few things at a time.
Did you ever do a tour of On Top of the World?
Have you
ever been in there and done a real tour?
Not a guided tour, but I have driven it around. Yeah,
okay. But sometime, because I need to take both of you guys on
I would love to
a tour of what all the facilities that we have and see the models, and I think it would really fun for you.
I would love to. Oh my!
We should set that up. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, let's do that. But what I'm referring to is like 17 years ago. So
wow.
A lot has changed.
It's a lot of change since then. And we built the Arbor facilities in that time, Arbor Club facilities. There's a conference center and a big swimming pool for indoor lap swimming, and there's an outdoor resort style pool. And just recently we just redid the inside. It used to be like a lodge kind of thing. Now it's a fitness center. So I brought Cammie Dennis in a number of times, and
she's wonderful.
She was our chauffeur.
Yeah, well, that's right. That was for 4th of July.
Election day, I used to drive the people who were registered in that area to the clubhouse inside. And again, this is like 17 years ago. So I don't know if that's still the precinct.
So there's some at the clubhouse. There's some over at the Master of the Possibilities buildings. There's a couple other Arbor Club has them as well. So we have a number of precincts. And
your classes are very diverse. We met a young lady yesterday, and she was taking a beekeeping class.
Oh yeah.
And the gentleman that comes out to Shalom Park, he's the instructor, and she was just so excited about doing that. She's got 2 hives of her own, and now she's learning how to do that. So that's pretty impressive that you encompass everybody, not only in the On Top of the World community itself, but outside of the community. People can come in and take
Master of the Possibilities is open to everybody, and that's the great. There are tons of great classes. Their beekeeping is one of them, and Chappie, he's like their beekeeper, and he's got some bees that are just north of Shalom Park, and they help to pollinate. But he also was there for our Shalom Park event. He had even a hive of bees that he brought in. They were in their little glass container so everybody could see it. And you'd look. The kids were looking for the queen bee, and it was.
Did they find it?
He kept saying he saw it, but I didn't see it. I didn't stick around too much.
Can I ask you about the ladybugs? That sounded like a fun event. Definitely, it's a crowd pleaser, right? Because everybody, I don't know why, but we like ladybugs. But was there a practical purpose for that? Do they actually function and do something?
So ladybugs are a beneficial insect, and they eat the aphids, the little bugs. They look like algae or white growth on some of the plants and trees.
Oh.
And so they that's what they feed on.
So did you guys order them just for this, or do you always let ladybugs go?
No. We just ordered it for this. It's just we were trying to provide an educational programming. And ladybugs, and we had a couple of other insects. We had praying mantis that were there, which we didn't release in the park, but and they were very small. But they were there also to teach about the fact that the bugs aren't bad, that there's a lot of reasoning for it. I mean, God put everything on earth for a purpose, right? That's what I believe. And ladybugs and praying mantis have a very easy thing to explain, that they're there to eat other bugs that are not beneficial to the trees or the plants.
And your lawn maintenance is super out at Shalom Park, because you can come out there and sit on the grass and have a picnic and not have to worry about little critters.
And we treat the grass with an insecticide, but
Really nice.
So any upcoming events you want to promote?
Well, I'll go back to our, you have a hot date with a model, and that's on November 5th, 2018, and we have 10 of our really absolutely gorgeous models. I want to bring you guys over there. You see it because it's absolutely beautiful. So November 5th, 2018, it's going to be a first come first serve basis to buy those models, and we know they're going to sell quickly. But if you're interested, you can come out any day of the week to go look at what those models are and what they look like on the inside.
And the event is on a Monday, so.
Yeah, I didn't even
Monday,
look.
November 5th,
So let's see, call On Top of the World if you need more. What's a good number?
352-854-3600.
And you've got lots of websites. The one I have is ontopoftheworld.com. Simple as that, right?
Or ontopoftheworldcommunities.com. And there's other ways to get a hold of us.
Otto. I love Otto.
Is that a website too?
I think so.
That's
yeah.
on a billboard.
I think so.
Okay.
I know, it's hard to keep
Good to
up.
see you, Robert. You're looking great, by the way.
Thank you.
Is Cammie helping you with your physical?
No, she's not.
No?
But I'm pretty disciplined when I want to be. So I discipline what I eat, and I discipline getting around and moving. So.
I got to get some of that from you. Thank you, Robert.
Great seeing you guys.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. President Trump says there shouldn't be a rush to judgment about the disappearance and reported murder of a Saudi Arabian journalist in Turkey. He says it also matters whether the Saudi king and crown prince were in on it.
If they knew about it, that would be bad. If they didn't know about it, bad things can happen.
He was on Fox Business Network. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham tells Fox.
You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes, my favorite line, to figure this out. He goes into the consulate, he never comes out. We have intel that Saudi Arabia, the crown prince, was annoyed with this guy.
Jamal Khashoggi was critical of the Saudi regime. Marijuana is legal.